If we are constantly getting disappointed, we're going to constantly doubt ourselves. And if we constantly doubt ourselves, we're going to lose our belief. And you can win if nobody believes in you, but you'll never win if you don't believe in you. Hey, how's it going, everyone? My name is Matthew Welsh, and welcome to the Leaders Only podcast, where we talk about business, leadership, mindset, and just pretty much anything revolved around building an incredible life. You know, the reason that I started this podcast is because I felt like on the way to where we're at now, there wasn't really a place to go learn tangible skill sets, leadership qualities, and mindset strategies that you can learn today, apply today, and get immediate results. And so the goal of this podcast is to teach you the things that you need to actually win, to actually change your life, and to actually grow your business and grow your team if you're someone that's in a leadership role. And so if you can do me a favor, if you ever get something out of our message, if you ever get something out of the content, if you can like, share, subscribe, just tell people about it. We put out all this information for free. And so all we ask is that you share it with a friend if you get something out of it. So with that being said, thank you guys so much, and let's tune in.
I'm a big mood. You can't name a lot of things that I didn't.
Today's going to be a little bit different. I want to just have a conversation with you, if that's okay. And what that conversation with you is about is not allowing disappointment to affect you. Not allowing disappointment to affect you. And the reason this is so important is because it's very easy to get disappointed. Disappointment happens when expectations are not met. And oftentimes when we live in a world where we are surrounded by others and we are surrounded by people that disappoint us all the time, and where we put trust in someone and they don't live up to that trust, or we ask someone to complete something and they don't complete it, or we rely on an employee and they don't come through, or whatever it might be, we tend to become very disappointed. And so every single time an expectation is not met, we become disappointed. We expect our wife to do something and we didn't communicate with them. It's just an uncommunicated expectation. They don't do it and we become disappointed, and or vice versa. Ladies, you expect your husband to do something, but he doesn't know that you want him to do it. And then all of a sudden he doesn't do it because you didn't communicate it with him. And now all of a sudden that expectation is not met and you become disappointed in your husband. All of a sudden you have an expectation that you're going to go into business or go into entrepreneurship and everything is just going to go perfectly and smoothly and you're going to become successful overnight. And then all of a sudden that expectation is not met and you become disappointed. Or all of a sudden you go to the gym and you expect that if I work out for maybe a week or 2 or 3 weeks, I'm going to all of a sudden have this perfect physique. And all of a sudden you show up to the gym for a week or 2 or 3 and maybe you don't see the results that you want. That expectation is not met and you become disappointed. And so my point is we have to be very, very careful of how we allow unmet expectations to affect us and affect our state. And let me explain why this is so important. Because when you experience disappointment, you start to experience doubt. Doubt that something works. Doubt that something can happen. Doubt that something that you want can be had. You start to experience doubt. When you start to have doubt, your belief goes down. You start to experience a lack of belief. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can have this. I don't know if I can accomplish this. Well, why don't I know? Because I'm doubting it. I'm doubting it due to the disappointment. So the disappointment triggers doubt. The doubt triggers a lack of belief. A lack of belief triggers a lack of faith, and not having faith in what you are doing. And faith, I'm not talking about it spiritually. I'm talking about having faith in you, that you can have that dream body, having faith in you, that you can have that dream life, faith in you, that you can hit that promotion, that milestone, faith in yourself. If you lack faith in yourself, well, then guess what's going to happen? You are not going to be able to succeed, and or you won't even try to succeed. And so a lot of times when you see people who are timid or they lack confidence, you know what it really is? They have been disappointed so many times that they've begun to doubt themselves. And because they've been disappointed so many times, they doubt themselves. That doubt leads to them not believing in themselves. And because they don't believe in themselves, they lack the faith on whether or not they can do anything. And that is destructive and that is harmful. And so we have to be extremely careful of how we allow disappointment to creep into our lives and what we allow to disappoint us. You know, I always look at electricity, right? What if on the 999th time of trying to create a light bulb or trying to create electricity, Thomas Edison was disappointed and he said, you know what? I doubt whether or not this is ever going to work. So I'm going to stop believing in my ability to create electricity. And I'm done. I'm done. What if Thomas Edison thought that way? We wouldn't have electricity to this day. We wouldn't. He didn't create 1,000 ways of failure. He created 1,000 ways on how not to create a light bulb. It was 1,000 experiments. It was 1,000 ways on how not to do something. And so instead of being disappointed, I want you to change your mind from something being a disappointment to something being an experiment. Let me say it again. I want you to shift your thinking from this is not a disappointment. This is an experiment. It's an experiment on how not to do something. And it's an experiment on what not to do. It's an experiment on how not to make a phone call. All of a sudden you make a phone call, somebody doesn't support you, you become disappointed. Well, instead of becoming disappointed, look at it as an experiment. Wow, I probably shouldn't make the phone call like that ever again. That's a good experiment. I experimented. I figured out that this doesn't work. Now that I know this doesn't work, I can move closer to what does work. And so it's just a paradigm shift in the way that we think and the way that we operate, where we are no longer looking at things as disappointments, but experiments and as opportunities on how to do something better. You know, disappointment will steal our dreams. It will steal everything that we want. It will steal our relationships. It will steal our belief in whatever we believe in. It will steal our belief in ourselves and whether or not we can have a dream life or experience a goal or have success in an area. If we are constantly getting disappointed, we're going to constantly doubt ourselves. And if we constantly doubt ourselves, we're going to lose our belief. And you can win if nobody believes in you, but you'll never win if you don't believe in you. If that disappointment triggers doubt and that doubt triggers a lack of belief in yourself, and that lack of belief in yourself means that you lose faith on whether or not you could do something, you're going to have a hard time winning. You're going to have a hard time winning. So I just want to bring this awareness to you. So now every single time you make a mistake, you let yourself off the hook. Now every single time that you try and maybe doesn't go your way, you let yourself off the hook. Stop being so disappointed. Nobody's good when they start something, but you got to start to get good. In fact, most people, when they start something, they're horrific. People look at me now in business, they, oh my gosh, your business is doing so well and this is happening and this is happening. You must have just been a natural. And the fact of the matter is I wasn't. I was really, really bad. The difference is when I was bad at something, I didn't allow it to disappoint me. I allowed it to teach me how to be better. So moving forward, when I go into the next step or I go into the next opportunity where I can perform, I'm better because of the mistake that I made, not worse. So be careful of disappointment. Don't allow it to affect your state. Understanding that things are not always going to go your way. Expectations are not always going to be met, especially when you're living in a world of other people where everyone's operating a lot of times for themselves, unfortunately, right? Your expectations are not going to be met all the time. And if we always allow those expectations to affect our state, then we're going to walk around bitter all the time. And that doesn't help you and it doesn't help anyone around you. So be careful of disappointment. Don't allow it to take advantage of you. Block it out and go do what you need to do. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If today helped you in any way, do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend about it. We put out all this information for free. All we ask is that if you ever learn something or if you ever feel good about something we talked about, that you tell a friend. Thank you guys so much, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Let's get it.